Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. So I got shift in hand again. I'm actually going to start passing it to pros and seeing what they think of it. So who's next? Stay tuned. All right, so I'm actually heading out right now to see if Goo is available. Yeah, it's getting a little late. So let's see if we can get a little daylight, maybe knock on some lights. All right, let's see you on the court with Coach Goo and the shift.
Oh. 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 There it is.
Oh!
Too bad it was literally on accident. Oh! She said she didn't have every nipple.
Oh!
Ah! Eh! Go! Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Go again! And again!
All right, Coach Goo, first impressions. Go for it.
First impressions, it's a very interesting racket. I feel like it's not your typical like clashes or blades, like kind of in that realm, because definitely when I hit with it, it almost feels like a different kind of flex. It's not your traditional like goes when usually when your racket goes through, right? It kind of goes, the flex will go from here to there. But it feels like when I hit it now, it doesn't traditionally go from that kind of like that traditional flex. It actually feels like the frame itself is almost flexing with on contact. So like even for me, when I feel this frame, the frame itself doesn't feel like your traditional frame. It feels definitely a little more refined. Like usually with normal rackets, you do feel an edge on top. But with this, it actually feels pretty boxy. So what I feel like is, pretend this is the frame. So the frame is actually a little flatter and it goes off to the sides. So it's not your traditional edge. So when you feel it, it's like, there is some type of edge. But when I touch it, it's almost like a boxier kind of, not boxier, but more of a oval/round shape of a frame. So therefore, it does shift a lot quicker. Like if I used the old Yonex 95, right? That actually feels like the shift. It feels like the traditional flex. But with this one, it definitely feels a little different. It definitely feels like the flex is within the frame itself.
So is it good or bad?
That is a great question. I feel like it is new, so like for me, I'm not used to it. I feel like if I gave it a few more tries, I might get used to it. I noticed the sweet spot is a little smaller due to maybe the frame itself. The sweet spot is definitely smaller, but when you do hit it right, it does feel great. It does give you a nice send-off, great feel, and also it just responds very well. But when it comes to hitting it a little bit off certain areas, you definitely feel a really weird shift or a little flex towards the racket. Because usually with a traditional one, you'll feel it, sometimes it'll give and you get away with it. But like this one, it really pronounces the mishits or the balls that you don't hit properly. So I would say not my preference, my taste, unless I tried it more. But I think it's a good attempt to kind of, play with the new technology, in my opinion.
Interesting. So in my opinion, this is my second time now playing with it. In my opinion, it feels like a lot of the 98s that are on the market today. So if you think
Okay, yeah.
about like
Yeah, okay.
all the other companies doing a 98 on a 305,
Yeah.
I think this is where the Racket belongs, in kind of that family and
Yeah,
that
I can agree
spectrum.
with you that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the interesting thing though is this is a 16 by 20.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we're feeling that the sweet spot is smaller.
Yeah.
And when you hit the off-center hits, it's not as forgiving.
It's definitely not as forgiving. Yes.
My other theory was that you kind of hit it was, most traditional frames kind of flex this way.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this, I was talking to somebody and they're like, they think that this frame flexes this way, where the frame moves inward. So when it ball hits the string, it actually absorbs this
shoots
way.
out, yeah.
Yeah, so
It
the
shoots
frame
out.
actually shifts down this way and then comes right back. So the actual frame is actually doing the shifting.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's definitely not your typical or your traditional racket because of how it hits. But no, like I said, it's a new technology that they're trying to Wilson's trying to experiment with, and then maybe the final product might be a little more fine tuned, but I like the attempt on the 1620, and it's an interesting like you said, it's a 99. So usually a 1620 would be on a 98 or
95,
right? So a 99 is very experimental. So in my opinion, it is an interesting take on a racket on a 99 head and a 1620 pattern, but they could be onto something. But
who do you think should play with this? Like first impression.
Definitely a pro, definitely advanced. It is not for your club players or something to start off with because it's very, very precise. It almost plays, in my opinion, like the Prestige because it's such a small, like the old Prestiges, which is a very small centered.
Interesting. So 4 or 5 and up.
4 or 5 and I would even say 5 and up.
Really?
It's a little more if you know how to if you're a very precise hitter, you know your contacts, this would be a good racket for you to try and feel. Like I said, I actually got good feel off of it, good pop when it's on the right spot. It's just getting used to the racket shifting in that way, right? That's where it comes through. I think it's getting used to the flex versus more of the contact point. Because when you start realizing the contact point, it's easy until, you just got to get used to the shifting part or the flexible part.
The more I think about this racket, I think if Alcaraz were to sign with Wilson,
this is probably the racket. Yeah, I can see it. It does remind me of a VS, like a Babylon. It does give you a little pop. I don't know. For me, the contact point feels like a Prestige,
right.
But the pop it gives is kind of like a VS.
Right.
Definitely the new VS. Or,
yeah,
sorry, the VS 98 was it the Aero Pro.
Yep. Got it.
So.
All right. Thank you, Coach Gu, for trying it out with me.
Of course.
I'm glad I got it into your hands.
Thank you.
Where can they find you, bud?
You can find me at agu.tennis. I'll also be posting content there as well.
All right. Guys, thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Guys, are you tired of playing against the ball machine? Ball machine always wins, and you're not really getting any interaction with people. How about playing with somebody at your level, or maybe a little bit better than you, that can improve your game? There's 27,000 people nationwide waiting for you to play with. It's all at playyourcourt.com. You can find your new tennis friend, join local leagues, all for less than $5 a month. You'll have access to players at your level, your speed, and make some new tennis friends. Check it out at playyourcourt.com/tennis spin. Link is below.